As the sky was enveloped by countless flies, let us turn to the situation between Miss Adachi and Mr. Murakami. Murakami told her while carrying her that she didn't need to worry, and if money was the problem, he would provide it because, after all, he traded stocks. He aggressively threw her onto the sofa, causing Miss Adachi some pain. Murakami began doing breathing exercises before lunging at Miss Adachi, while countless jiangshi were revealed to be waiting behind him. She told herself to wait and keep Mr. Murakami busy for as long as possible, since she still doesn't know his power. And when he drops his guard, only then will she order her jiangshi to attack. Suddenly a fly flew near Murakami's ear, and Miss Adachi seemed troubled when she noticed it. Murakami became irritated and shouted that he had thrown out the trash yesterday, but his anger quickly disappeared and was replaced by widened eyes from shock when he saw the numerous jiangshi and flies behind him. Next, we suddenly returned to Ira's group's situation, where they were screaming in fear and disgust because of the numerous insects emerging in their surroundings, while Koki continued playing the piano. Ira asked what was happening and why these insects were swarming everything. Kawabanga answered that Koki's ability wasn't to amplify Rin's singing, nor was it the power to control pygmies. Her power, she said, was the ability to make small living things obey her, the Lord of the Flies. After that, we returned to Miss Adachi, where thousands of flies began swarming around Murakami's body, causing him to scream in anger. He said they were entering every opening they could access, which made him question what was going on with these insects. Miss Adachi was also puzzled about why and what was happening because it wasn't her power causing it. Before long, she realized this was her chance to defeat Murakami, so she quickly reached into the cut on her chest and pulled out a Kozuka knife. She pointed it at Murakami and shouted for him to accept his defeat. While commenting on his audacity, she said she would let him live, but if he didn't decide quickly, there were no guarantees. Murakami angrily said that she was behind all of this and asked if it was true that she was also collecting powers, while Miss Adachi continued threatening him to hurry up and admit his defeat before he dies. Nevertheless, Murakami didn't give up, and despite being covered in countless flies, he tried to reach Miss Adachi, who was shouting at him to hurry up and do what she wanted. Before long, Murakami managed to grab Miss Adachi's hand, which made her extremely nervous. But unexpectedly, Murakami gradually admitted his defeat and afterwards slowly released her hand, whereupon letting go, his finger was cut in the process. Because of this, a strange aura began circling around Miss Adachi's body and entered the Kozuka knife she was holding. After that, a symbol appeared beside the knife, signifying severed head dribble. Miss Adachi stared at the Kozuka knife, but Murakami quickly got her attention when he began begging her to help him. She immediately swept away the swarming flies from his body and also ordered her jiangshi to help. When they could see Murakami's body, Miss Adachi shouted at him to hold on. However, he couldn't remove his hands from the openings on his face because the flies might enter. Because of this, the flies managed to break the window and lift Murakami out of his condo unit. While this was happening, we returned once more to Ira and her group, and they were stunned because the severed head dribblers and the numerous insects in their surroundings suddenly vanished. Koki then lost strength and collapsed to the floor, so Ira and her companions quickly approached and carried her. Ira told her to be strong, to which she replied that she was okay and just felt a little dizzy. Ira then asked what had happened because their opponents suddenly disappeared, to which Rin said she didn't know, and they also didn't know where Mr. Murakami was. Shortly after, countless flies suddenly entered through the gym's glass window, which startled them. Ira quickly transformed and shielded her friends to protect them. The flies caught Ira's attention when they placed something down, and that's when they saw Murakami. They looked at each other eye to eye, which gave both parties extreme shock. Murakami was completely bewildered when he noticed he was in the gym and asked what he was doing there. He added the question of why the three of them were still at school at this hour, to which Ira seriously greeted him good evening. Murakami tried to make excuses by saying how strange it was because he was just at home about to take a bath, then suddenly found himself here. He said mysterious phenomena really do happen, which supposedly surprised him. Afterward, he began walking away from them while saying that the three of them should also go home because it was dark outside. However, Ira didn't let this slide and kicked him in the face, which sent him flying. She called him a pukey pig bastard and angrily asked if he had nothing to say to them. Murakami quickly said yes, and that he would delete Koki's pictures and it wouldn't be a problem, so could they please stop this here? He reasoned that if they made this issue any bigger, it wouldn't look good for them either because what they were discussing were dirty pictures, to which Ira seriously told him that his assumption was wrong and that the pictures weren't what they wanted to discuss. What they wanted to hear from him, she said, is more along the lines of him saying that he'll be off to the pen now. The pig pen, that is. As she was saying this, she gave Murakami a solid kick to the face that shook the past, present, and future of this pervert. In the next scene, we move to outside the gym, where Okarun and Sakata were being chased by the human alien and Hase. While running, Sakata shouted, asking what kind of creatures those were. Here we also saw Hase's transformation after he obtained his power from a yokai. Using the rings on his feet, he jumped repeatedly to gain speed, so it wasn't long before he managed to catch up to Okarun. Upon getting close to him, he immediately gave him a double flying kick, but fortunately, Okarun was wearing nano bracers with airbags inside, so he didn't crash into the wall. Afterward, he quickly stood up and returned the airbags to his arm and started running again. He shouted at Sakata that they couldn't fight those beings using only airbags, to which Sakata, while also running, shouted back for him to be quiet and that this wasn't the time for that. He also ordered him to get the enemy's attention and lead them away from him. Okarun then said they needed to find Rin and Ira to ensure they were safe, to which Sakata again pointed out that this wasn't the time for that. Because of this, Okarun became irritated and asked what a space alien was doing in this place. He was also surprised about why Hase was targeting him. When Okarun and Sakata had gotten a bit further away, Hase reverted to his human form and, gasping for breath, said that transforming was extremely tiring and it would have been better if he didn't have to wear it on his feet. He then spoke to the human-like alien and ordered her to stop flying around because she was getting in his way. He said her target should be the lardass, as he put it, but the alien ignored him while fiddling with the buttons on her arm. Inside the exosuit, the female alien was commenting that this suit was difficult to use, which also irritated her toward Count Saint-Germain. Hase tried again to get her attention and pointed out that weren't they both after the same thing, which was stealing Okarun's abilities. Then, while transforming back into his yokai form, Hase also said that all he wanted to do was to kick the shit out of Okarun, so the alien could have his abilities. He also seriously said that she should not get in his way, and if she didn't comply, she would die. While he was scolding the alien, Sakata quickly approached Okarun and, while applying nanoskin to his body, said that now was their chance because those two had stopped momentarily. After Sakata had molded what he was putting on Okarun, he asked what it was. Sakata shouted at him not to touch the equipment because he had put so much effort into making that gear, to which he agreed. Sakata explained to him that he had placed verniers on the back and pile bunkers on the legs. He then asked what Sakata would be wearing, to which Sakata arrogantly said that he shouldn't worry about that, because his suit was the Great Kinta. Okarun was surprised by the beauty of his suit's appearance, so he asked why his own wasn't complete. Sakata answered that their nanoskin was limited, so he should stop complaining, to which Okarun irritably pointed out that his body was half exposed. In the situation of the two enemies, Hase continued pointing out to the human-like alien that he would target Okarun, but the alien still wasn't paying attention to him, and after saying ready, she quickly charged towards Sakata and Okarun. Because of this, Sakata shouted for them to prepare, but when he tried to give the human-like alien a blast wind thrust attack, it easily evaded him and gave Okarun a flying kick to the body. Okarun was surprised when he didn't feel any pain, which also caught the alien's attention. Sakata commented, asking if he could now see how his mighty creative power shines. He explained that since the last Great War, he had been thinking hard about how to improve the Great Kinta. He said that this robot was truly badass and powerful, but it was extremely weak once it got hit. So, he started walking around every day carrying a paper weight to force his body to become familiar with the hardness of steel. Okarun commented that was the reason why his suit was so heavy and difficult to move, which made Sakata worry. He was concerned about this and said he hadn't noticed when it was still a giant robot. But now that the Great Kinta was human-sized, its movements were slow. While he was still distracted, Hase took this opportunity to give Sakata a solid double flying kick to the face, which sent him flying. Okarun turned and became worried about this, while the human-like alien continued her attack on him. Irritated, Okarun asked the alien why she was attacking him again, to which the human-like alien responded that he stole everything from her. He said that they were the ones who first stole his jewel, to which the alien added that he also stole her reason to live. While remembering the leader alien, she told Okarun that they destroyed their planet, which confused him. She pointed out that she joined them so she could kill their emperor, and after almost 100 years, she finally became Haster's right hand. However, she claimed Okarun ruined her plan. While continuing to attack, she asked if he could understand her suffering and frustration, to which Okarun answered that none of that meant anything to him. He countered after that, and using the rocket on his back, he propelled himself toward the alien's body, and after it pushed him away, it tried to punch him. However, he managed to prepare again, and when he positioned his 2 feet on it, he used his pile bunkers, which solidly hit its body. They both were thrown back from each other, but they quickly raised their bodies. Okarun tried to talk to the alien and said she should stop because he wasn't her enemy, to which the alien only responded that her current goal was to kill him and then die afterward. While the alien was saying this, we were shown what seemed to be an imagination or memory, where there was a couple kissing as the sun was setting.